Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Well, my goodness, that was easy. Wow, the New York Mets break up this Mets lineup because they are absolutely on fire. They take it to the Detroit Tigers for the second straight game, both of them with double-digit runs, as today they put a 12 spot on the board, thanks in large part to 2 solo home runs from Pete Alonso, another from Soto, a 3-run shot from Luis Torrens, and a 6-run 7th inning where the Mets just blew this game open. They come back from down 2-1 in the first after Nolan McLean settled in and at one point shut down and I believe retired. It was around 13 consecutive Tigers. A nice, fun win for the Mets here this evening, as they have now taken the series from the team with the best record in the American League in Detroit. The Mets offense just rolling on them, and it is a good day for the New York Mets. Guys, what is up? I'm Tony Metro. Welcome to the stream. If you guys are new, I do daily Mets content here on my channel. Post-game recap after all the Mets games. Be sure to leave this video a like. You can also follow me on all my other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Links to all of those are in the description below. We're not going to do live call-ins today. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter stream because I'm not even going to lie. I'm in the middle of a fantasy football draft, but I'm still here for you after this game, and I may even need some help with this fantasy football draft. So if you know anything about it, make sure you shout out in the chat. But guys, what a nice freaking win for this Mets ball club today. They come out with McLean on the mound, Pete Alonso ambushing the pitcher for the Tigers on a 3-0 pitch into the hedges in deep left center field. I mean, a towering shot from Big Pete to put the Mets ahead, but unfortunately some control issues for McLean. I think he also might have got a little squeezed there by the umpire in that first inning, as the Mets were able to, as the Tigers were able to come through with back-to-back walks, then back-to-back singles to put them ahead 2-1. But then the Mets able to put the bases loaded together, a base hit from Jeff McNeil, followed by a sac fly from Cedric Mullins, and then with 2 outs, an Oppo Taco off the foul pole from Luis Torrens to give the Mets a 6-2 lead. Of course, not that comfortable because the Mets had a 6-2 lead yesterday as well, and look how quickly that one vanished, poof, just like that. But Nolan McLean settled in, did a really solid job, finished his day with 7 strikeouts, and just really started to look good and turn it on after he found his control there. So nice to see that out of McLean despite early bumps in this one. And then the Mets just broke out for that huge inning. You had Juan Soto and Pete Alonso going back to back in the 7th, and it was just an absolute hit parade from there. Mark Vientos getting in on it with an opposite field double into the gap, and before you know it, the Mets had a 6 spot on the board and they coast to a nice victory in this one. Guys, how you feeling about this win? Sound off in the chat. And speaking of which, let's go to the chat. Metro Mets, McLean just proved he's a big league pitcher because he struggled in the first, didn't get stressed, and pitched amazing the rest of the way. Exactly what I was just saying there, Metro. That is such veteran savvy, just presence, and the ability to shake off and realize, hey, I didn't have it that first inning. I may not be able to go to some of the pitches that I was going to in my first couple of starts, and they were able to change course, and he settled in very nicely. 100% looked like a pro. I'm with you there, Metro. Absol, we finally get a game with good pitching and good hitting at the same time. Could you believe it? Is that allowed? I don't know if you're actually allowed to do that per the baseball rules, at least based on how I've watched the 2025 Mets. You're not allowed to score 10 plus runs in a game and also get good pitching from your staff, but apparently you can, because that is what the Mets did tonight, Absol. Armand, hey, what a win. What a win, 100%. Absol says, hey, Tony, I'm eating crow about Juan Soto too. I think a lot of us are. And like I said about Juan Soto, when I said that in my stream and made a short about it later, it was more so about Soto not having those impactful moments with runners in scoring position, and that's factual. He was hitting under 200, an OPS below 700 with runners in scoring position up until the middle of July, and he has completely turned it on since then. So I don't want to take credit for it, but maybe just a little bit. Maybe Tony push a little nudge to Juan Soto. No, I'm just kidding. But I can also admit when a guy has turned it around and when I was wrong, and I was Juan Soto's been unbelievable. 37 home runs now, draws another walk. There was some stat that he just passed Mickey Mantle for the most games with a home run and a walk under the age of 26. So he just added another one of those today with a solo home run. Again, his 37th bomb of the season, plus another walk today for Soto. This lineup is just clicking on all cylinders, guys. I mean, this is ridiculous. How many 10-run plus games have the Mets had over the last couple of weeks after that historic month of August where they scored the most runs in any single month in franchise history? So this offense is clicking at the right time. Nolan McLean continues to look like a pro's pro. Hopefully we'll get to see that out of Jonah Tong, and then hopefully we'll get to see these veterans in the rotation figure things out as well. I am just going to take a look real quick, monitor where I am. I'm coming up in 3 picks in my fantasy draft. I think we got a solid team already. Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Joe Burrow, Travis Kelce, and A.J. Brown. So I'm pretty happy. Oh, and Garrett Wilson as a keeper. So I don't know, guys. Where do I go here now? Do I go another receiver? Do I go another running back? Let me know in the comments over here. But let's see. Armand, per Mike Mayer, Nolan McLean becomes the 25th pitcher in the MLB history to win each of his first 4 starts. Crazy stuff. And it's crazy because, again, you think of all the rich history of the Mets pitching, or the Mets pitching and the rich history in this organization, you would think that somewhere along the lines, the Mets would have got that as well. But Nolan McLean making some history here, which is really cool. Caden, hey, what's up? I've been busy, but I'm back. Hey, good to have you back, Caden. Appreciate it. Just in time for this postseason run. Derail, Tony, what's up, champ? I like what I see with Nolan. Nolan looks like a stud, guys. This has been a just absolute joy to watch with Nolan McLean. I mean, the dude is just going out there. He doesn't really seem to care what happens to him in the first inning or whatever. If he doesn't have his best stuff, and we know that early on he couldn't seem to control most of his breaking balls, that sweeper, that was his bread and butter so far to this point. He was throwing them a little too inside on left-handers, wasn't getting as much chase from his opponents, and he was able to adjust. I didn't love all the pitch calls. There was a 3-2, back-to-back 3-2 sweeper calls. There was a sweeper and then a changeup, so I didn't love that, but glad that him and Luis Torrens were able to figure it out. 100% D-Rouse. Armand says, per Sleeper Mets, Nolan McLean, oh yeah, first pitcher in 11 years to start his career 11-0. The last to do it, Chase Anderson with the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2014. I remember Chase Anderson, absolutely. That is an interesting stat there. Absol calling him Juan Cena now. You can't see me, Juan Cena. I love it. Someone made a great edit. I think it was Ben Yoel on Twitter that made a really good edit of it yesterday with the John Cena song as he was coming around first base and making that celebration that you can't see me. It's so cool. Let's see. Per Mike Mayer, Francisco Alvarez went 1 for 4 and caught the entire game tonight for AAA Syracuse. Jose Siri went 1 for 5 with 4 strikeouts as the designated hitter. Okay, so some good news there. Francisco Alvarez completed a rehab game today, had a base hit, and also caught in that one. We also see Jose Siri getting a base hit in that one. Maybe finally he comes back, 4 strikeouts. Oh boy, that's not great to see, but they could use him now with the news that we received today. 2 different injuries today. One, Tyrone Taylor was placed on the injured list. He will be out for at least the next 10 games or however long that will take him to get back. So we lose Tyrone Taylor, who really started to swing the bat well, unfortunately. So getting Siri back would be nice. But unfortunately, even more so, the Mets have shut Jesse Winker down, and he is likely done for the season. So we barely got to see Winker. We know he went out with the oblique injury against the White Sox. That must have been back in early May. He returned in that series back in July against the Orioles, and literally in his second game back from the injured list, hurt his back, and they have officially shut Jesse Winker down from baseball activities. And Carlos Mendoza went on to say that his season is likely over. So that is definitely a blow, although I think most of us at this point kind of already accepted and did not believe that we were going to get Jesse Winker back at any point this season anyway. So definitely stinks. Would have been nice to have him. He's a great left-handed bat, had some clutch moments in the postseason last year and brings some fire to this team, but unfortunately Jesse Winker will not be suiting up for the Mets in all likelihood again here in 2025. So that is the bad news, but good to hear that Francisco Alvarez did complete a rehab game, and not only that, but caught as well. We know, of course, with him injuring his hand once again. Let's see. Armand says, per Just Baseball, most strikeouts through four career starts in Mets history. Nolan Ryan with 29 and Nolan McLean with 28. It is poetry in motion that they are both named Nolan and they are atop those lists. That is crazy. So Chase Anderson was the last one to win their first 4 starts back in 2014. The guy before him, 2013, now across town, but prior to that was with Pittsburgh, and that was Garrett Cole. So Nolan McLean comes out, just continues to do great things. Again, this wasn't the most impressive start. We know 2 walks in that first inning that obviously come back to hurt him as the Tigers are able to get back-to-back base hits, score 2 runs and take the lead, but able to settle down, ends up giving them 6 innings, just 3 hits, 2 of them coming in that first inning, 3 walks, 2 of them coming in that first inning. I mean, like I said, at one point retired something like 13 straight Tigers before Justin Hergert was called on to soak up the rest of this game, though he could not do that, as we know, because we got the Stanek experience once again, and that was so much fun, as it always is. But the Mets able to hold on and win this one. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays are leading the Reds 12-9 in the 9th inning, so that is very good news as well. The Mets may be able to gain a game on the Cincinnati Reds. The Phillies not in action today, so they will resume that series with the Brewers tomorrow, but we will take it any way that we can get it. For whatever reason, we're taking a look here at the Giants game. It looks like Rafi Devers hit a bomb and then started mouthing off at Kyle Freeland on the mound. We got a real brawl there out in Colorado. Look at this. Love to see it. Couple of NL West foes going after each other. Not sure why that happened, but hey, the Giants have kind of crawled back into this race. That's probably why they're showing these highlights. The Giants are 69-69. They're 5.5 back of the Mets. Cincinnati, 4.5 back. So the Giants have quietly kind of crawled themselves back into this race for the 3rd wild card spot as well. Guys, I'm coming up on this pick here for my fantasy football draft. I'm going to need your help. Where do I go? Running back? Tight end, I already got Travis Kelce, so I don't think I'm going to be doing that. Joe Mixon is on the physically unable to perform list. We're not touching him, that is for sure. We already have our quarterback in Joe Burrow. Hold on, guys. Let me just really give this a second and study up what we got here, because this is a crucial pick. I got back-to-back ones, actually, so I don't know, man. This is tough. All right, hold on. I'll be right back with you guys. Don't you worry. Joe Mixon, is he going to be able to play? Out the first 4 games. Oh boy, guys, this is tough. This is tough to be doing a stream and trying to do my fantasy football draft. Mixon is officially out the first 4 games. Oh boy, I don't like the sound of that. That does not sound like a good plan at all, if you ask me. Chris Olave is on the board. How do you guys feel about Chris Olave? He's always kind of solid, but who's throwing him the ball down in New Orleans these days? I don't even know. Oh, man. I was hoping they were going to make this draft at a different time, but unfortunately, them's the breaks. This is where we are. So you got Chris Godwin, but he's out the first 5 weeks. I don't know if I want to touch that. Oh, man, this is really rough, guys. Keyshawn Judkins, he's not even on a roster. What are they recommending that for? Travis Etienne is trash. I don't ever want to see his name in here again, but you got Tank Bigsby in there. We can't do that. Come on, what are we doing here? This is a brutal. Oh, man, I don't know. All right, we're going to go. I feel like John Gruden or Tony Romo. Oh, man, I don't know. All right, I went with Chris Olave. Now I think I'm good on receivers for a little while. Kyle Pitts? No, absolutely not. I already got a tight end. Joe Mixon is still in there. What do you guys say? What round am I in? So I am in round 7. The problem is this is a keeper league, so a lot of the names that would normally be in these top 5-6 rounds are off the board. So I am in a very precarious situation right now. Take a chance on a rookie. All right, let's see. Who do we got on the rookies list? Mason Taylor. I really like the Jets tight end, the son of former Jet linebacker and Dolphin linebacker. What's his name? Oh my gosh, I can't think of it. Jason Taylor, whatever. You guys know what I'm saying, right? All right, I'll be right back. This is my final pick for a little while, guys, and then I'll give you my undivided attention. Who do I go? Cam Scatterboo? Maybe, possibly. No, I don't think so. Keyshawn Judkins, that sounds like it's really good. If Judkins were to sign, could even contribute week 1. Oh man, this is tough, guys. I don't know what to do. Cam Ward, I like Cam Ward. I'm not taking him here. Jason Taylor, yes, thank you. I am a mess right now, guys. Oh man, I'm never doing this again. Trying to stream and do a fantasy football draft. This is just a asking for trouble here. But Jordan Mason in Minnesota. I like Jordan Mason. I think Jordan Mason. Or Scattaboo. Oh, fuck. It went with Jacoby Myers automatically. I missed it, guys. I missed it. Damn it. That's how much I love you guys. I'm here for the stream, and I am basically punting on my $100 football league so that I can be here for our post-game stream. Anyway, guys, let me catch you up. I'm sure you've been bored now just watching me like a fool here stare at the fantasy football draft. That's not what I wanted. Judkins isn't signed with the Browns exactly, Armand. That's why I didn't pick him, but they said he could sign soon, but dude hasn't been in training camp, so I don't want to touch that. But anyway, guys, where were we? What a nice win. Look at this lineup. Everybody except Lindor and Mullins contributing in this one. Lindor still gets an RBI, but whatever. Not holding it against him or anything. I'm just saying everybody else with a huge day. Juan Soto, 2 for 4, solo homer and a walk. Alonso Wood, 2 solo bombs. He now has 33 on the season. Nimmo, 3 for 5 with a really clutch hit there in the middle of that rally. Vientos knocking that double. Pinch hit for Acuna with an infield single that just stays fair down the third baseline. McNeil, 3 for 5. He had the game time base hit, I believe it was, in this one before Mullins, who didn't get a hit, but had the sack fly and pass the baton over to Luis Torrens, who would hit that 3-run homer there to give the Mets the lead for good. So just this offense, like I said, is just on fire right now and at the perfect time. So now hopefully this pitching staff will take after what Nolan McLean did and not whimper at the first sign of adversity, which has been the calling card so much lately for guys like David Peterson, Kodai Senga, Sean Manaea, and Clay Holmes. Look what this guy did tonight. A rookie who looks well wise beyond his years based on his performance so far in his early MLB career. So hopefully that will be the case. Joe says McLean has me playing American Pie after each win. Why is that? Is there something I'm missing in this? Bye Miss American Pie, or is it the movie? No, you're talking about the song, right? Yeah, it's a real nice win for the Mets. Like I said, Philly is off today, so we gain a half a game on them. We'll see what happens with their game tomorrow. Obviously, tomorrow the Mets are going to be going for the sweep of the Tigers, and then who knows? I mean, if the Mets can somehow finish off a sweep of the American League leading Detroit Tigers. Let me just say that again. The Mets finished the sweep of the Tigers, but they couldn't even split a series at home with the Miami Marlins. Make it make sense. It makes absolutely no sense at all, but here we are. That would be amazing. That would put this team in a really good position, especially with the series against the Reds here coming up over the weekend, especially if this Reds game goes final, which I think it's close to it. It's 9-6. Like I said, Toronto leading them in the 9th inning. So hopefully that does happen. That will put the Mets up 5 on Cincinnati, and then we'll just see what happens tomorrow between the Mets Tigers and between Cincy and Toronto in their finale of that series as well. But really good position so far. Obviously, we've talked about the division. Feels like a pipe dream at this point. You know, the Brewers get out to a 4-0 lead, then a 5-1 lead over Philly yesterday and blow it. Thanks a lot. I said it on Twitter. Can't wait to see the Brewers crumble in the playoffs like they do every year. That is going to hit like crack. I'm not advising you do crack. I never have, but I'm not advising anyone does, but I assume that's how it's going to hit, at least the first time, because the Brewers can't do us any favors as they can't win that game against Phillies yesterday. It would have been really nice to gain that game. We would have been now 4.5 back of the Phillies after tonight's win, but unfortunately it doesn't go that way. So we are still 5.5 games back of the division. We got those 4 in hand against them, as we know, against Philly in Philadelphia next week. And we also do have the tiebreaker for the division from winning the season series against the Phils. but it's definitely going to be tough to make up that much ground despite having a little bit of juice still left with them in that 4-game series. But guys, sound off in the chat. How you feeling right now? Do you think the division's a possibility? How you feeling just overall about the Mets playoff likelihood? I'm feeling very good about it. I'm not going to put a number on it. I'm just going to say that I feel very, very confident this team will be in the postseason. They just need to continue doing what they're doing. Armand says, oh, I see. Joe says Don McLean. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. He's the artist for that song. Got you. Armand, Jays lead 12-9, bottom 9th with 2 outs. Very good. Okay, so hopefully the Reds will definitely lose this game. That's how it's looking. No more comebacks like they had yesterday where they walked Toronto off despite trailing 4-2 in the 9th inning. So hopefully the Blue Jays able to do that for us and give us a little favor there. So that would be very, very nice. Like I said, that would put the Mets 5 up on them. And then we also kind of have to watch out for San Francisco. We obviously don't play San Francisco here in the final month. We already played our series with them, swept them in San Francisco, and then they beat us 2 out of 3 at Citi Field. But they have gotten themselves back to 500, 69-69. If they win this game and the Reds lose their game tonight, they will actually be, I believe, in a tie for at 70-69. And I don't know how they played each other head to head, but we definitely have 2 teams now behind us that are going to be competing with us for that final wild card spot. But again, if the Mets just take care of business, if they go out and just score double-digit runs and get great starts like they got from Nolan McLean here tonight, then they should be fine. Just go take care of business. Destiny is in the Mets' hands, and so far they have been taking care of that business handily. Absol, game went final 12-9 Blue Jays. Give it up for the Blue Jays, ladies and gentlemen. Always loved Canada. Never actually been, but I'm sure it's a great, lovely place as the Blue Jays help us out and defeat the Reds. So the Mets officially with a 5-game lead over the Reds for the 3rd and final wild card spot. Great to see. Nolan McLean pitching lights out again. The future is looking bright, guys. There was a shirt that I got back in 2005. It was outside of the Mets clubhouse or team store in Manhattan, and it said the future is now. And I never really understood what that meant when I was a kid. I was only probably like maybe 12, maybe 10 when I got it. And it was because David Wright and Jose Reyes were coming up. They had just signed Carlos Beltran and Pedro. And I didn't understand it when I was that age. But then I, of course, came to realize it when I saw those guys come up and play. The future is coming for the Mets. The future is now with Nolan McLean arriving and how well he has pitched. With Jonah Tong coming up. And even though it wasn't the most stellar and impressive start of all time, he showed some veteran presence on the mound as well. We have yet to see Brandon Sproat, who I hope that we will hear shortly, and that without even talking about any of the position prospects who we believe are also on their way soon. A handful of them getting promoted to AAA recently in the form of Jet Williams and Carson Bench. And of course, starting to see some nice turnarounds from Vientos, Beatty, Alvarez, that first group of baby Mets. So this is an exciting time for the Mets. I'm not saying that they are going to run on a 10 streak of World Series, but I would not be surprised if we have that sustained success that Steve Cohen has talked about since becoming the owner of this team. So I am very excited. Armand, per Mike Puma, Mets are leaning toward bringing back McLean on normal rest to pitch Sunday in Cincy following Jonah Tong a night earlier. That would be Holmes, Peterson, Tong, and McLean. And honestly, this is audition time, guys. This is essentially an audition for the playoff rotation. Who is pitching the best right now and who deserves to pitch in October? This is what we are looking at right now. And it is hard to decipher between the veterans because of all the struggles that they have had. Should it be Manaya? Should it be Kodai Senga? I don't know. There are a lot of different ways the Mets can go about it. Clay Holmes, I said in a video that I am actually planning to post tomorrow, I gave 3 different solutions to how the Mets can fix the rest of their rotation here in the final month and heading into October. And solution number 1 to me is the best, and that is promoting Brandon Sproat, putting him in the rotation, and sending Clay Holmes to the bullpen. You've heard me say it ad nauseum. Quickly, though, the reasoning, Clay Holmes is obviously running out of gas. Brandon Sproat is a starter. His one experience as a reliever down in AAA did not go very well last week. And you can hopefully tap into that reliever experience that Clay Holmes has and put him in there to help because of the shortcomings of Ryan Helsley. So you're killing two birds with one stone by promoting Sproat, putting him in the rotation, and putting Holmes into the bullpen. Option number 2 is to simply put Sproat into the bullpen. Like I said, though, the one time he pitched out of relief a couple of weeks ago for AAA Syracuse, it did not go very well. I think he had 5 earned runs in maybe 3 or 4 innings. So that was not so great for him. Option number 3, and this one a little more out of the box, but it would be to keep Senga in the rotation, promote Brandon Sproat so that you can keep Senga on his regular 5-day rest, and then put Sean Manaea in the bullpen. And hear me out on this one. It's because we have seen Sean Manaea start some of these games so far since returning from the injured list looking dominant for the first inning to maybe 3 sometimes. We saw it when he came out of the bullpen in his first appearance here in 2025 off the injury out in Kansas City before the All-Star break. It's looking more and more like Sean Manaea is only going to be effective this year in short stints. So if you were to have Kodai Senga start a game, even if he only gives you the 4 or 5 that we have been seeing from him lately, you bring Sean Manaea in and you try to get the rest of that game soaked up by Manaea, or at least 3 to 4 innings where he's been able to actually be effective before that third time through the order where hitters are starting to knock him around. So those are 3 suggestions. I personally go with number 1, bring Sproat up, put him in the rotation, and put Clay Holmes into the bullpen. What do you guys think? Which of those 3 do you guys like the most to fix this rotation and pitching staff heading toward October? Let's go back to the chat. Jose Lopez Moya, I saw another Mets podcaster said Singy Stearns could let Alonso walk because they have Clifford. Can Clifford protect Soto the way Pete has? Absolutely not. I wouldn't bank on that. Ryan Clifford, definitely a prospect that we have a lot of hope for, but we also wanted to maybe have Mark Vientos as the starting first baseman and Brett Beatty at third this year had they let Pete walk this offseason. That was a potential plan that was floated out there, and they have turned it on of late, but the Mets would probably be an under 500 team without the contributions that Pete Alonso gave to them the first 3 months and with the struggles of those 2 guys. So no, there is no replacing Pete Alonso. I am on record saying sign Pete, make him a lifetime Met. This dude is going to hit 400 career home runs plus. I would like to see them all be in a Mets uniform. So totally agree with you there, Jose Lopez. We'll see what happens with Clifford, though. They obviously only have a certain number of positions out there on the field, so they obviously are going to have to make some room for some of these young guys if they truly believe in them. Absol, hopefully Sproat gets great start. Hopefully Sproat gets great starts and get him in the rotation for the playoffs. Put Manaea and Holmes in the bullpen. I mean, it's like clear as day. The best, easiest route to fixing this is putting him in the bullpen, that being Clay Holmes, because he is out of gas. We know that. And he actually pitched a lot better in August than he did in July. The ERA was about 0.3 runs lower, but he went at least 5 innings in all of his starts here in August. So Holmes actually trending upward a little bit, but definitely not pitching to the same level that he was in the first few months of this season. He has that postseason experience, closing out ball games as a late inning reliever, as a closer. We have seen how bad that Ryan Helsley has been, how shaky the rest of this bullpen has been. It just seems like the right move to put Holmes back into the bullpen. Do you really think that Holmes is actually one of your top 3 or 4 starters for a potential playoff matchup? Let's just play this out. The Mets likely going to be a wild card team, probably not winning the division. Even if they do win the division, they're going to have to play in the wild card round. So you only need 3 starters. It's 3 consecutive days, all at the same stadium. You're obviously going to go with Nolan McLean at this point. David Peterson, despite some bumps lately, if it continues to get worse, maybe that's a discussion for another day. And then that 3rd spot is up for grabs. You're not handing it to anybody. You're not handing it to Kodai Senga at this moment. You're not handing it to Clay Holmes, who has been very shaky. And you're not handing it outright to Jonah Tong after just 1 career start. Obviously, have not seen nearly enough from the guy. So there are a lot of questions about how to fix this rotation. I personally think the best way to go about it is putting Holmes into the bullpen. It'll help the pen and see what you got in Sproat. But we'll see if that's actually how the Mets want to go about it. Armand Purcell-Lang, 5 home runs, 5+ walks, and 4+ stolen bases in a 5-game span. At least 125 seasons, 2025 Juan Soto, 1975 Mike Schmidt, and 1922 Max Carey. So he is in some rarefied air, is Juan Soto, is what you're telling me. An impressive couple of weeks, really 2 months now, for Juan Soto, who has been just absolutely on fire. You love to see it. Soto has been just putting on a show for this team. I mean, follows it up from the grand slam and the go-ahead triple yesterday to going with a home run today, following it back-to-back with Pete Alonso. Just awesome to see them clicking at the same time now. And then Francisco Lindor, 0 for 4, but before that had been really hot. So, I mean, this has just been a joy to watch these guys really starting to put it all together, and hopefully at the same time for this big playoff push. Guys, go ahead, leave this video a like if you have not already. Really appreciate it. Subscribe if you have not already. Daily Mets content, post-game recap after every Mets game. Really exciting to see this Mets offense coming alive at the perfect time. How many times is that now in the last 2 weeks that the Mets have scored double-digit runs? It feels like it's got to be at least 5. I know once against Philly, once against the Marlins, twice now in this series. So that's 4 immediately off the top of the dome right here. So at least 4 in the last week plus. So the Mets offense has been tremendous. If now we can only finally start to get some production out of their starters, not named Nolan McLean and Jonah Tong, but the case for that, still not sure. Jose Lopez Moya says, bring up Sproat and put him in the starting rotation. I agree 100%. And like I said yesterday, you can absolutely put a guy that is within your roster already on your roster, 40-man or not, on your playoff roster. So he will be eligible for the playoffs. I would like to see Brandon Sproat sooner than later. Why let him continue to waste any more bullets down in AAA? That season about to come to an end. I don't care about the AAA playoffs. Bring Brandon Sproat up now. If you're going to put him in the rotation, great. If you want to put him in the bullpen, that's fine by me too. But let's see how this guy handles himself on a big league mound, at least for a couple of weeks before the playoffs start. And then you can make that decision. Do you want him to be on your roster for the playoffs or not? But at least you gave it a shot, and you can find out with your own eyes for yourself if he is ready for the big leagues and the big stage of October baseball. Absol says, funny how Yankee fans were saying in the beginning of the year that Soto wasn't going to come close to hitting 41 bombs. He looks like he did with the Yankees, getting more realistic now. Not just getting more realistic, looking like he is going to surpass it. He is on a home run binge right now. Juan Soto is just playing out of his mind. In fact, let me pull up what he has done now over the last 30 games for you guys. As my next pick in the draft. I'm cooked in this league now, guys. I hope you appreciate that I'm here doing the stream, because I am absolutely cooked in this league. I don't know who I just picked in my last one. It is getting auto-drafted practically at this point, but I'll keep you guys up to date as the NFL season rolls on, how I do in this league. If I win, then that's how I'm going to do drafts every year. But Juan Soto now over the last 30 games. First and foremost, I just want to start with this. 30 walks. Juan Soto has drawn essentially a walk every game. Obviously, it's not like that. Some games 2, some games 3, some games none, but 30 walks so far, or in the last 30 games. He has stolen 12 bases, including another one tonight. That running, jumping lead, just don't know how pitchers haven't caught on to it yet. He has a 648 slug, and he has 12 homers, 29 RBIs, and a 296 average. 296 average, 434 OBP, 648 slug. That's an OPS over 1,000. Juan Soto is him. Juan Soto is worth the $50 million that we are paying him. And again, I already gave my apology form yesterday. I don't think I need to pull it out again, right? I think I'm off the hook. I already made the video earlier this week, even before yesterday, saying that I was wrong about Soto. So I'm allowed to enjoy this. You're not allowed to hold that against me, right? CB says, I think Soto is set on 50. Man, 50, that would be impossible at this point, if I'm being honest. But could you imagine? Could you imagine if Soto ended up doing that somehow? I don't think so. But 43, I don't think that's out of the possibility. I don't think that's too crazy for him. Do you? I could easily see him going for 53, right? Something around there. That would be 43. That would be a career high by 2, more than what he did last year with the Yankees. So absolutely could see that being realistic for Juan Soto. I'm really excited about what this team has been doing offensively. We'll see about the pitching staff, but Mark Rapp, man, I was wrong about Soto. I can't wait to see what he does in the playoffs. And guys, like we said, it can all be forgotten. Any player's performance from the regular season can easily be forgotten if they turn it on in the playoffs. And that is exactly what happened last year with Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso able to turn his season around, obviously, with the season-saving home run against Milwaukee in Game 3 of that wild card series. And the same can be said for any player. I'm not going to say that about Juan Soto because you look at his numbers and they're ridiculous for the regular season. It has not all been linear, like I said, but at the end of the day, the dude is in the MVP conversation. I mean, I dare you to name someone outside of Kyle Schwarber and outside of Shohei Ohtani that are having better seasons than Juan Soto in the National League. And even if you don't take into account the offense, if you only take into account the offensive WAR for Juan Soto, he is leading the entire National League in offensive WAR. So, I mean, it's really just impressive what he has been doing, and hopefully he does carry this team in the playoffs. Absol 50 might be a stretch, but I hope so. Yeah, me too. That would be crazy. That would be 13 more home runs in about, 24 games or something, 25 games. So I don't think that's going to happen, but hey, who knows, man? Dude's been hitting one, it seems, every day lately, 2 the other day against Miami. So, I mean, it's possible, I suppose, right? Guys, I think we are going to wrap this one here. I have already totally just killed myself in this fantasy draft, but it is what it is. I do it for you guys. But real quick, let's preview tomorrow's game. Again, you saw there's a benches clearing brawl between the Rockies and the Giants. So that is something to keep an eye on with the Giants now at 500 and looking to possibly leapfrog the Cincinnati Reds in the wild card standings. But tomorrow it will be one of the veterans that have been struggling for this rotation lately, and that is Clay Holmes. So Holmes will be taking the mound tomorrow. So far on the year, a 3.60 ERA, doubled the most innings he has ever thrown in a single season in his career at 140 plus. Last time out versus the Marlins, 5 innings, 4 runs, only 2 of them earned. So he has definitely been pitching better of late. Like I said, completed 5 innings in 4 of his 5 starts in August. So that is obviously something nice to see from Holmes, but we know sometimes it's not always the best Holmes when he doesn't have that command and he starts getting battered around on base hits. And the Mets, meanwhile, will be facing Casey Mize, the former number 1 overall MLB draft pick. Mize has a 3.95 ERA on the season over 23 starts. Last time out for Mize, he went up against the Athletics and gave up 5 runs in 3 1/3 innings pitched. So not a great performance. In fact, a really ugly August for Casey Mize. A 5.81 ERA over 5 starts. Got beat up bad by Minnesota. Minnesota twice, actually, plus the Angels. Kansas City, the only team that's even in consideration for a playoff race that he faced back in August, and probably had his best start against them. And that was still only 5 2/3 innings and 3 earned runs. So, hey, the way this Mets offense has been going, I will put them up against any pitcher, and I think they got a good chance of scoring a lot of runs. So I am excited. Let's see if the Mets can get the sweep tomorrow. We will be back with another post-game recap after the finale of that one. Hopefully, like I said, a sweep for the Mets over the Tigers. But a good day here. The Mets win 12-5. Another double-digit crooked number game for this lineup. And another nice performance from Nolan McLean on the bump. They gain a game on the Reds, and we'll see what happens from here, guys. It's crunch time. But appreciate you all so much for watching. That is going to do it for now. We'll see you tomorrow. Till then, I'm Tony Metro. Stay true to the orange and blue.